So I have a really exciting topic to talk about today, something that's very near to my heart. And that is building a Rockstar content marketing team. How do you do that? How do you put the pieces together? We actually have at Color Media, we have 15 team members on our team right now. And we're pumping out, give or take a couple hundred, we're pumping out about 3,200 pieces of content every single week right now for us and for the clients that we have, primarily for the clients that we have that we're working with daily content that we're putting out, whether it's podcasts, social media posts, or website content, YouTube videos, you name it. So today I'm gonna talk about the foundations of building that team and then how to build that team. What components do you actually need? Do you need a graphic designer? Do you need a video person? Do you need a distribution manager and all that stuff? We're gonna talk about all that, who I think you should hire, how to hire them, where to find them, but then also some foundational pieces that you may or may not know about or already have set in place. So the first thing that you want to establish before hiring any team, doesn't matter if it's a content marketing team, if it's a team that's flipping a house, it doesn't matter what it is. The first thing you need to establish is your core values. Core values is a huge thing. I actually have mine on the wall over here, is generous, innovate, and respect. Those are the 3 core values that we have here at Color Media. And so you're gonna use those to judge every single one of your team members or people that you're hiring off of those core values. So to give you a little context, we actually took from the book Traction, the system called EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, the book's by Gino Wickman, and we implemented this into our business. And part of that is establishing your core values. And the awesome thing about core values is that you get to rank every single one of your team members by these core values, and you rank them on a scale of 1 to 3. If they do not encompass at least a 2 on all 3 of them, then you let that person go because they are not in accordance with your core values. And you also use that for hiring. So for us, there are very, very fine lines in our core values in which we hire our team members. So every single one of our team members right now score very well on every single one of our core values. So that's important moving forward because like I'll talk about next, the process that you set in place, the systems, and then also the roles and responsibilities that you have for your team, it's important to make sure that they have these core values because if they don't, they're not gonna align with anything else that you have set place in your business and also the content marketing that you're gonna be putting out. And not to mention that these people that you put on your team are gonna be controlling your voice in some degree, the content you put out. So if you have a core value that's respect, which what we have, that's our #1 core value. If somebody really wanted to disrespect me and botch my name, they could create a stupid piece of content that has some sort of me giving like a racial slur or something like that and then put that on my social media. So it's very important to make sure that you have core values that set those boundaries so that you don't ever have an incident like that. So that's a lot of business talk, so I'm gonna leave it at that, but I think that's extremely important to talk about when you're putting any sort of content marketing team or marketing team in place for you. So number 2 is processes and systems. I'll pair those 2 together because I think they go hand in hand. Processes and systems are very important. If you don't have your processes and systems set on in place for your team, for you to perform the content marketing functions that have to happen, whether that's video editing, whether that's graphic design, writing, distribution, you name it, all of those things have to have processes ironed out or else these people are going to do things that the way they want and you never know what you're gonna get. So set those processes in place, make sure you have the correct systems. The systems that we have are Trello, Slack, and then we have some minor integrations on the back end when it comes to like using Zapier or something like that. We do use Infusionsoft for a CRM, but that's not really meant for the team to build. The team primarily works off of Slack and Trello, and that is it. Keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it simple, and that is going to cause you to have really, really good processes and for your team members to obey those systems and processes along the way so that there's no hiccups. So let's talk about the actual people that you want to hire. Now, here's the thing is that a lot of this might be subjective to depending on what you're doing in your content that you're putting out, whether it's just social media posts, whether it's doing podcasts, whether that's doing YouTube videos or you name it, whatever you do. So take what I'm saying and really apply it to what you're doing and the goals that you're trying to reach. Because I'm just gonna tell you how I hired my team and the places that I've put them into my business and the functions, the roles that they're doing essentially for our clients. Now again, depending on the degree that you're doing, you could hire one person that does all of this stuff for you. Now there's a lot of skill sets to go into each and every one of these. So that's why I hired very specific people to do very specific tasks tasks within the company, but you could find that one unicorn, somebody, and not to brag and no ego put in here, but somebody like myself that's done every single one of these functions in some capacity in a previous life, in a business that I worked in. I did every single one of these positions, but there are very few people out there that can actually do every single one of these things. So that's my recommendation, is to hire for each specific task. But if you can find one person to do it all, then keep that person and allow them to thrive and blossom in that role. So number one person that you need to hire for your content marketing team is a video editor slash videographer. Now, I did an entire video on this, on how to hire the right videographer slash video editor. So make sure you do go check that out. We'll link that down in the description below for you. An entire video on how I actually hired mine, how I recommend you to hire yours, the things that you need to be thinking about, how to vet them and all that. But that's the number one person that I think you need to hire, because normally if there is somebody that can do all of these roles, it would be somebody in that kind of skill set. Somebody that can do graphic design. Typically a videographer, video person can actually do graphic design as well. Sometimes they can write, as long as you give them the right tools, but then they can also distribute content, which distributing content is normally the least amount of skill that is needed, but there are some skills that play into that. But a videographer can typically take it all the way through the silos and get it all the way into distribution stage. The thing that they would struggle with the most is writing, because writing the copy for a social media post does take a very specific skill set to do that. But videographer slash video editor is somebody that you really need to do find first. Now, how do you find that person? I actually did a video on that, like I said, so go check that out. I'm not gonna go super deep into it here, but my recommendations are you can actually find those people on, say, Thumbtack, or you could actually go to a college and have somebody that wants to intern for you that knows basic video editing, basic video skills, and they can do that kind of thing. Now, here's the thing to think about as well. You could actually, and I just had this conversation with somebody today, my video editors, we've got 6 video editors, including my personal videographer. We've got 6 video editors on our team. And 5 of those, outside of my videographer, 5 of those I actually hired on Upwork. And I'll talk about Upwork quite a bit on this video because that's where we hired most of our team. But Upwork is where I hired most all of our team members, and especially our 5 video editors that we currently have. Great platform to use because you see a lot of the work that they do. Upwork makes them jump through a lot of hoops in order to get portfolios up there, get their resumes and whatnot. So you can really vet them very cleanly just on Upwork without even having to interview somebody. Now, I do recommend interviewing them, but it's a very good platform to hire and find good talent. So a video editor, typically you can find somebody between $10 to $12 per hour. Do not recommend hiring somebody that's a Filipino VA, that's somebody that's $3 an hour. You really do get what you pay for when you actually do hire for a position like this. So make sure you get somebody that's quality. My recommendation is if you can pay up to $15 an hour, make sure you do that. But that's about the average of what we pay, is right around $11, $12 an hour. So that's what you would typically pay somebody, but finding them on Upwork, that video editor, if you can actually hire that person and shoot the videos yourself, kind of like what a lot of people do in my clientele is they'll shoot it with Zoom videos or something like that, or they just know how to use a camera. They know how to set a camera up on a tripod, hit record, and plug a mic in, and that's it. Cool, you could do that yourself. Eliminate that position altogether. Hire a $10 an hour video editor and have them edit your videos for you. Your goal in there. So you can eliminate an entire process there just on your own. The next person to consider would be a graphic designer. Again, a graphic designer has very specific skill sets. Typically, they can swing over to being a video editor sometimes, but I find that a graphic designer does have their very specific niches within using Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, stuff like that. And a lot of times you'll find somebody that's a good graphic designer is very, very creative. And creatives can be a little challenging to manage. As long as you stay on top of them, you make sure they communicate at all times. That's the important thing. But hiring a graphic designer, again, Upwork is a no-brainer. You go to that. And this is somebody that you definitely don't have to have in-house. They don't have to see you on a day-to-day basis. They can literally be working in another country and allow them to do that. But have some specific guidelines. Graphic designers typically going to design any thumbnails for you for your YouTube videos, any graphic designs like quote cards that you're going to put on social media, stuff like that. That's what you want them to do. Now, the next person that I would hire would be your writer. Now, here's the thing. Writers, there's a lot of different silos within them, and maybe I'll shoot an entire video on hiring a writer for yourself for content marketing stuff. But typically you have different silos of writers. So again, you have like a book writers, people that will actually write books for you, ghostwrite or whatever. Then you have article, blog writers, you have social media copywriters, and then you've got several other silos of writing that you could go into, poetry and stuff like that. So what you want to look for is somebody that's really good at social media copy, because that person will be able to not lose your voice in the process. This is where we actually struck gold with our writer. She's excellent at learning somebody's voice and actually taking what they do from a marketing perspective and actually not lose their voice in the process. She stalks them on social media, learns how they write. Do they use emojis? Do they use periods? Do they use exclamation points? Are they long-winded? Are they short-winded? Those are the things that you got to take into consideration. And so some good things to do would be to test your writers and give them a video and say, hey, just write a 2-paragraph copy for me for social media for this video specifically. Allow them to do that, vet it, read it, and judge them off of that. That's a really good exercise to push them through. Again, Upwork, great place to find somebody for this. I do not have an affiliate with Upwork, which I probably should, but Upwork is a great place to find these people. Writers, definitely one of the most, if not the most important person to write for you on your internal team is gonna be that writer that you hire, because they will have your voice. So make sure you are very smart with that. Hire somebody that's really good. Last but not least is a distribution manager. So I actually have 3 people on my team that are in distribution. The first one, she's kind of the manager of all of it, and she does the bulk of the scheduling out of the content. Then she has somebody that actually manages TikTok and Instagram for us, and then somebody that does manual posting, such as LinkedIn. You can't schedule posts, so she has somebody on our team that actually does the manual posting. Now here's the thing, if you're doing it for yourself, you can have one person do all of this stuff. So distribution manager, again, typically go to Upwork, you're gonna be looking for social media manager, somebody that actually can take these posts, schedule them out and stuff like that. What I would recommend is that for LinkedIn, for TikTok, TikTok you can schedule inside the app, so use the app to actually schedule your content. You have to do it from the computer app. LinkedIn, always gonna be manual posting, but Facebook and Instagram, do not let somebody that's a distribution manager use a platform, a third-party platform such as Hootsuite, Buffer. You're gonna lose a lot of traction with that. And there's theories out there, not totally proven, but there's theories out there that show that if you use these third-party platforms, that you actually get damaged in the algorithms with these platforms. So do not use that. Facebook Creator Studio, that is what they absolutely must use, because that's the platform that is owned by Facebook. So you're gonna use that for Facebook and Instagram. Obviously YouTube, podcasts, you can schedule content out there. So you just need somebody that's gonna take the content and actually schedule it out, post it manually, whatever needs to be done. And that person, again, doesn't have to have a massive skill set, but you do need to have them have a good understanding of each platform, so they know when to post, so that they know how to create the hashtags and stuff like that. That's typically gonna be for your distribution manager. So those are the people that you need to hire for your team. Again, if you can strike a unicorn, find somebody that could do all of them, do it. Keep that person, pay them well, and make sure you take good care of them. But those are really the 4 positions that you need to hire for a good content marketing team. If you're gonna do that for yourself, or if you're another agency that does this stuff, this is what you need to look at in terms of building a team out. So hopefully this brought you some value. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to get really deep into building this out, and maybe I'll do videos specifically on each position on hiring those people. So be on the lookout for that. Again, I did one for a video editor / videographer, so go check that out. I'll have that link down in the description below. And speaking of links, make sure you do check out all the links that I have down below. I do have ways to connect with me on social media and also schedule a 1-hour consultation with me. That'll be the first link down in the description. And if you've got value out of this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one. See you later.